Hey, good morning, everybody. Here we are. It's our Wednesday morning live. I'm Kim Whitaker with Rejuvenate Raw with Kim, and we have Luca Hinich. Hi, Luca.
Hi, Kim. Hi, Laura. Hi, guys.
And
Kim.
Laura Hernandez
Hi,
from
how are
I Hey
you?
Lolo.
I am not sure we are live because Zoom
Yes,
has
this meeting
said it.
is now streaming.
Okay.
So this morning, we told you last week that we are going to talk about how our thoughts affect our physical body. And Laura is definitely the expert on that. She helped me understand how to change my thoughts and emotions in order to transform my health. So I'm going to turn this over to Laura. And Laura, could you remind us of your credentials, your expertise in this area before you start?
Oh, sure. I am a stress management and self-regulation coach. Well, first of all, I'm an engineer, so I have an engineer mind. So I'm a stress management and self-regulation coach. I'm a wellness coach. I'm a meditation teacher, coach, and trainer. And I am a mental health coach and a spiritual life coach. So those are kind of my credentials. And I'm doing a master in consciousness and human potential. How is that the thoughts work and what is the effect in the body is very interesting, and I think is the root for everything. A thought is the product of the brain. So the mind is the product of the brain. The brain has neurons, and the neurons come together in neural patterns. And when you are thinking is the activation of a synapses, of a neural synapses. That neural synapses is going to have an effect in the body because that neural synapses it's going to send a signal in the body. And that signal that has been sent in the body creates chemistry, okay, and creates information. Those synapses, they travel through your autonomic nervous system, and feelings block these synapses, and feelings produce chemistry that sometimes is not what we need. For example, the hormones of stress are going to move all your blood from the non-essential organs into the extremities, so you can run, fight, or flight, but you could be running emotions that are producing the hormones of stress that you don't need to run, fight, or fly, because your coworker is not going to kill you, or your husband is not going to, do any harm to you. So we have a thought, there's a response in the body, there's a chemistry that is going to respond in the body. That's on one side. On the other side, energy, emotion is the energy in motion in the body. And the energy in motion in the body, you have an emotion, is there in your body, you feel it. And if you don't process, it's going to stay in the body. And it's going to be frozen. And if you don't address that, that's going to become a limitation or a block in the body.
Awesome.
Okay.
It's kind of scientific, but yet it exists. The mind-body connection exists because we think about, say we think about something sad, or we're watching a sad movie, and what happens, we have a physical response. Maybe our eyes tear up, and if we're watching a scary movie, maybe we get sweaty palms. But that's an example of how our thoughts affect our physical body. And I know when I was working with Laura, when I was so sick and was so fearful and so afraid, and she explained to me how the thoughts affect our body, I knew I had to change my thoughts from fear. And it was very challenging, to say the least, when I saw my skin being eaten away by flesh-eating bacteria. And she taught me not to look at it and not to think about it. Well, I had to become very, very strong And I learned to, as the Bible says, turn the other cheek from what was actually happening. And I had to stop those thoughts of fear like that. And I had to replace those thoughts of fear with better feeling thoughts. And the way to do that is I had to first go to meditation, because I couldn't do it when I was in a normal mode, so to say. I had to do the breathing techniques and learn to quiet my mind. And then I taught myself how to change the thought when I was in meditation. Luca, do you have some input on this? Because I know this was a huge part of your transformation too, the emotional part.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I saw throughout my detox journey, like I was focused only on the physical because I didn't really understand anything else at the beginning. And the more I went in it, the more cleansed I got, the more my mind opened, the more conscious I got, the more aware I've become. And I've started seeing so many emotional patterns and so many like accumulated energies in my body that were very harmful for me. And that's exactly what Laura was talking about. When you don't process it, it gets stuck in the body, and when you keep accumulating it over years and years and decades, it becomes very destructive. And that's when the body uses its the most aggressive filters called chronic and degenerative diseases. That's how modern medicine calls it, but it's actually a very aggressive filter from the body to get rid of those destructive energies as best as it can. But it doesn't happen in a very pretty manner, let's say, because it's very destructive. And that's why if we don't deal with it, it eventually gets us to a point where we need to think about it like, okay, I'm literally like going to die, and like this body is dying and I need to do something about it. I need to change something in my life, and like holistically, not just change what I eat. I need to change what I think, how I feel, how I think about myself, about the world, about other people, and about everything. And that's what I needed to do, because I was full of rage, full of anger, full of resentment, full of bitterness, full of everything. And when all of that started coming out, it was in my case, it was through 4 diagnoses of Crohn's, of gastritis, of rheumatoid arthritis, and eventually autoimmune hepatitis when my liver was starting to fail. And those are the aggressive filters that the body uses when you're literally, in a sense, getting a wake-up call to change something in your life. And if you don't listen, if you don't process any emotions, any thoughts that you're actually when you're not aware of them at all, you're just living on autopilot in a sense, and you accumulate them, and it gets to the point where it will be very obvious in the physical that you need to work on change and something in your life. And that's what I figure out on my path. And it was a lot of releasing that I needed to do, and that I did to get where I am now, 4 years later, healthier than ever. But also, you see while you're doing this, that how many of those things you actually released, because, for example, you start to see in a very like small situations in your life where you used to blow up like from anger, and now you don't react at all because you don't have that much accumulations anymore within yourself. And those are like the small victories that we all need to really consider putting in front of our faces every single day, because we are always ahead of who we were and how we were doing just yesterday, and not to mention a few months in or years in this journey, right?
Exactly. This is great, you guys. Great information, Laura and Luca. Thank you so much. So the conclusion here, guys, is that health transformation is much more than a diet. It is a transformation of the body and the emotions and the spiritual, so much. And these are all things we address in the Rejuvenation Key course. So I'll put a link to that on the video if you're interested in watching the free webinar, which will tell you more. So, all right, everybody, we will see you next time. Have a great day.
See you next Wednesday.